Hey everyone, we all tend to believe that tough, competitive elections are great for democracy, right? I mean, it seems obvious that when politicians have to fight for our vote, they'll serve us better. But what if that's not always true? Today, we're diving into a fascinating paradox that turns this core belief on its head, using a wild study that shows how the fiercest political battles might actually harm the public. So let's just ask it straight up. Does a nail-biter of an election really guarantee better results for you and me? The assumption is always yes, but we're going to explore how that very pressure, the one we think creates accountability, might actually be pushing politicians in the complete opposite direction. You know, the thinking goes, more competition forces politicians to be honest and focus on what we all need. But here's the twist. A really deep dive into 30 years of data from the Philippines has uncovered something pretty startling. The more intense the election, the less money gets spent on things like public health care and education. And this brings us to what the research calls the democratic paradox. It's this strange, counterintuitive situation where the very thing we champion to strengthen democracy, fierce competition, can actually lead to outcomes that hurt the public good. And this quote from this study really just says it all. When an election gets really, really tight, incumbents, the people already in power, they shift their strategy. They stop focusing so much on big public services and start funneling resources into patronage and private goods to lock down a small, loyal group of supporters to make sure they win. So why on earth would a politician do this? Well, it's not random. It's actually a very calculated move. It all comes down to the cold, hard logic of political survival when you're in a tough fight. The key idea here is something called the selectorate hypothesis. Basically, it says that to hold on to power, any leader, and I mean any leader, needs to keep a core group of supporters happy. Think of it as their winning coalition. And how they keep that group happy depends entirely on how big or small it needs to be. So to keep that winning coalition on their side, politicians basically have two kinds of goods in their toolkit. They can provide public goods, things like new schools, better hospitals, stuff that benefits everybody. Or they can hand out private goods, things like government jobs, lucrative contracts, or maybe a new road that only goes to one specific village. These things only benefit their most loyal supporters. And this is where the political math gets kind of ruthless. Let's say a politician has $100 to spend. They could use it on a project for a town of 1,000 people. If you do the math, that's like a tiny benefit for each person. Or they could use that same $100 to give juicy contracts to their 10 most critical supporters. For those 10 people, that reward is huge and it's personal. The loyalty you buy with those private goods is just so much more efficient. So in a super tight race, that survival instinct just kicks in. You don't need to make everyone happy anymore. You just need to lock down that small, essential coalition. And the best, most efficient way to do that is to reward them directly with private goodies. Suddenly spending on broad public services for everyone else? Well, that becomes a much lower priority. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a neat theory, but is there any proof? Well, yes. This isn't just a theory. The study backs this all up with a ton of data, looking at budgets and election results from 81 different provinces in the Philippines over 30 years. We're talking 1992 all the way to 2022. And the data, wow, it paints a really clear picture. What it shows is this powerful downward trend. The more candidates you have in a race, meaning the more competition there is, the less the winner ends up spending on public welfare. It's a clear inverse relationship. As one goes up, the other goes down. And the flip side of that coin is just as telling. When a politician wins by a landslide, meaning the election was not very competitive, they actually spend more on public welfare. Because their power is secure, they can afford to think bigger and provide those public goods that benefit the whole population. So, when the researchers crunched all the numbers, the pattern was just inescapable. More candidates in the race, less welfare spending. A bigger margin of victory for the person in charge, more welfare spending. The data even shows how other pressures, like high government running costs or relying too much on money from the national government, squeeze welfare spending even more. The evidence is just really consistent. Okay, so if fierce competition can create these backwards incentives, what do we do about it? How do we fix the system? Well, the research doesn't just point out the problem. It also proposes a whole set of reforms to try and realign a politician's own survival with the public good. The brief offers 5 big ideas that all work together. First, you ramp up accountability, make government budgets totally transparent online so citizens can see what's going on, and bring in tougher random audits. Then, you change the rules of the game for funding, tie government grants to actual results, like improving literacy, and force governments to spend a minimum amount on essentials like health and education. And finally, you empower local governments to raise their own money so they aren't so dependent on political favors. The whole goal is to make providing public goods the best and most rewarding strategy for a politician. And all of this leads us to the final, really critical question this research makes us ask. It forces us to think way more deeply about how democracy works. Fierce competition isn't the magic bullet we always assume it is. So the challenge for all of us is to figure out how we can design our political systems so that a politician's fight to win an election is the very same fight for a better future for everybody. Thanks for joining The Explainer.